What is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the views of the last one. Pretty great, surprising amount of hits there. And of course, check out the socials. I got Brunner
Yep.
with me, as always. We got the Brunner here, and it's just going to be me and Brunner today. I'm going to make it for this cut, but it says it's going to be a ranting episode. Nothing really too serious here. Just going to go down a list of things that we've been going through. If you relate to this, of course, let us know your stories. Let us know your experience. Rant with us. I'm very excited personally because I have a lot to fucking go through. But we'll go through it just like basically a normal conversation. And um, yeah, there's a lot I want to say. There's a lot I kind of want to hold back just because I know some coworkers listen to this. So there's a lot of that. And yeah, I mean, let's just get started. I mean, how
I'm
are you doing, Brenner?
fine. I'm doing good. Um, we got some new news, because we're living in some. It's been it's been crazy right now. Some crazy times right now. But I'm just gonna hand it off back to you because I share a similar experience. I've shared a similar experience. So Anthony, what's been going on with you?
Well, lately, car troubles. I guess one thing I want to say on this podcast, and you could quote me on the ear. The quote is never buy a Chrysler. That will be your fucking trouble of the year. And I didn't learn that mistake, and I bought another Chrysler. So not my current car, the one I just got. I got another one. Um, I mean, like I don't even know where to start, man. So my current PT Cruiser, the one that Michael Scott drives in season 5. I had that one. I thought it was a shit because of The Office too. I didn't think any of it because of The Office. And slowly with the oil light would come on right when I put oil, and then it would always make loud noises when I start it, and now it doesn't even start. So that's great. So that means Crispy's got to get his ass to the dealership, on his very limited day off, and put down some money that he was planning on putting down right before the holidays. So if I can go in there, right? I won't say the dealership's name, but I'm in there, and I hate the smell of dealerships. I don't know about you, dude. The smell of a dealership just gives me a fucking headache. Just gives me a headache. I gotta do my paperwork outside. So I'm already pissed off that I'm going there. I got a coffee, and I have my pay stubs and I got everything. I have a pretty good job. I don't lie with you. I think the one thing that fucked me over is I had no credit. No credit. Okay, you guys gotta realize I'm 22, never had a credit card. I
Okay.
know that's my fault. I don't blame anyone but myself, but
But the thing is too is
that's the
like,
shit I'm on.
okay, well, how do you get credit when you're like, okay, I'll apply for credit, you know, if they, I'll apply for a credit card and then,
Exactly.
make purchases and then pay it off on time and then gain the credit. Where then you apply and then a lot of credit card companies are like, oh, well, you know what, since you don't have credit, we can't give you the card. You're like, okay, well, how do I get the credit? If
Exactly, dude. Look, I just want this on record. The facts that I went into the insurance place and the car dealership and they both smelled the same is terrible. Um so anyway, I get there. Bruner has a really nice car. She could relate to this. I like I mentioned, I have the PT Cruiser before. Never had a really like good car, good new car. I used to have a PT Cruiser and I had the Chrysler before, like I mentioned. So honestly, for me, it's just like I just wanted a new car. I thought I deserve it, so I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna go to the dealership, get myself something nice. Originally, I was looking for like a 2018, 17, around there. I ended up getting a 2020 Honda Civic
very
LX. Really good car. Had a lot of good features in it. They threw in like free tires and oil change. They painted everything. I was texting Brewer through this whole process. He gave me advice on what to say. He basically gave me a script, made me sound smart there. So we got it done and we put the payment down. So it's like, okay, just insurance time. Shouldn't be too hard. First off, it took me at least 3 weeks to finally fucking pick out a car. From walking into the dealership. I know because I think it started week 2 of the NFL season, and now we're over here in like week 10. So it's been going on for a while, and now that I finally put a down payment, I finally have a car. The last thing that I thought wouldn't be the bitch is the biggest bitch, and that is probably the insurance. And that's what I've been dealing with right now. You probably see me going back and forth too. It's terrible. And I'm just getting fucked over every quote I get, every quote I fucking get. I swear it just keeps getting worse. Literally, I started from 339, right? They quoted me that, and I'm like, okay, let me go look at other options. It's gone from like 400 to 500. The one I just called right now, they told me $1,000 down. $1,000 down. What the fuck, man? Like, I don't, dude. And then this is the worst part. So like, we go back and we call the one that quoted us for 339. It's actually gonna be 500. There was never no quote. There was never no fucking quote. That was the worst part, dude. Like the worst of it. Like, I am in a shit storm right now. Like, I tried Progressive. I've tried get like everything. I don't know what to do. And at this point, I'm gonna go down to some fucking Walmart insurance and just fucking walk in and sign up. Those fucking people that have insurance booths in the very front of like the supermarkets. At this point, I'm about to go there. And it's crazy as that sounds, like, I don't even know, bro. It's stressing me out because I have my dealership telling me, hey, everything's ready. Your car's ready to be picked up. Just need the insurance. And I'm over here, no car, using my mom's car. You know how embarrassing that is? Like, using my mom's car, and my car's ready. It's ready to be used, but I can't fucking use it because no insurance wants to fucking give me good quotes. And yes, I understand because of my age. Um, it does have to play a factor. But I go ask Brunner, I go ask Aaron, our friend Aaron Post, I ask some other friends. They're nowhere like paying near as me. Like, I'm in a different ballpark with these guys. And that's what pisses me off. Is like I can't even enjoy a car because my fucking insurance quotes are way too high. Way too high.
Yeah,
Brunner thoughts,
I'm
please. I need a Brunner motivational
it,
quote here.
I was just saying, like, this whole dealership thing is like, it's too stressful. Like, it's stressful and it doesn't need to be stressful. Like, for whatever reason, is what I found. Like buying a home, like getting a home and dealing with real estate people, and buying a car and dealing with dealership people. Like, they're just too stressful. Like, they're more stressful than they should be. And I think the whole insurance, I don't like insurance. I don't like that I'm paying $250. I know Anthony would take that in a heartbeat, but I feel like
Yeah.
just the whole insurance in general, like, they just, when the time comes, you're like, hey, something happened with the car. Like, I've been, I've had this car for 5+ years, haven't gotten in an accident. I'm a good driver. So can you help me? And then, like, they're like very hesitant to help you. And then they're like, oh, well, this and that and this and that. And then we got to do all this and that stuff. I'm like, it's ridiculous. And that same thing with, like,
Yeah.
you know, shout out to the last story, but I'll tell it again because, me and Elite, we had this conversation when I got my car. But I went to a dealership and we're financing this car. First time ever in my life that we're doing it. And, everything was smooth. I had my dad co-sign it because for the whole process, because thank God he has good credit. But, I remember the thing that they told us, and it's still burned into my head, was that they said, because we wanted a certain type of car, and they didn't have it locally, and then they're like, we have dealerships, across the state, across the country. They're like, we can, like, here's it in our website. If you give us the money to have it shipped here, then that's basically like you're holding the car. Like, that tells the other dealership, hey, don't sell the car because this person from here put money down on it, so you're going to get ready to ship. So I'm like, okay. And then, I was first a little hesitant, like, I'm telling Dad, like, I don't think so, because like it was $1,000 to have the car shipped here. Like we
Yeah.
had like me and my dad, we combined, we had saved like we in total we saved like 17,000, and then we're like, oh, we're like, but that like it's gonna like hit us, you know what I mean? That it's gonna take away from the 17,000.
Gee.
And then so I remembered like the manager of the dealership like just pressing me. He's like, if you really want the car, put the down payment, you know what I mean? Put that $500. Putting that $500, we'll put that $1,000 down. We're like, okay, we'll do it. You know, I told my dad I was at work, and I told my dad, I'm like, call her before they close. You know, give them the card information, and go save. You know, go get the car right. And so he does
Mhm.
that. Everything. He's like, okay, and then I get a call from her the next day. She's like, okay, just letting you know, your payment's gone through, and then we're gonna go put a hold on the car, and then it's gonna be here in a week. So okay, I said, okay, sounds good.
Wow. Nice.
Week goes by. I haven't heard from her at all. So I'm like, hey, like it's been a week. What's the status on the car? And then she's like, oh, you know how you put money down on that car, and you know how we told you that we'll hold it? Well, it was already sold. And I'm like, you
What?
went a whole week without telling me this. And so because we needed the car because my dad like had just gotten in an accident, and then my car was like in the shop. And so like we were down to one car between like the three of us. And then so we're like we were scrambling. It took a whole nother month to try because I wanted this specific vehicle. And we would literally call,
Yeah.
like we check the website every day, and then we call them. And we're like, hey, so another one popped out on the website. Can you check and see? You know, can you hold it? Because they told us they're like, oh yeah, your deposit is like transferable. And then so we're like, okay, so we call. It took us like another month to finally get one. And then we're like, okay, you know, let's do it. And then I have the car now. But like that didn't need to happen.
Wow.
Like it like the whole thing was too stressful because I'm like thinking I'm like, oh, I'm
Exactly.
like maybe we should get a refund and then go somewhere else and this and that. It's just the whole thing has been like
Just
too
too
extra. Yeah.
extra. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, and just like shit like that too, like just makes you want to fucking grab your money and leave. But like you need the car so bad, and I don't know, bro. It's stressful. It's ugly right now. Like honestly, I really hate it. Um, Especially because I have to go to work right now, so it's like I have to deal with it now. It's not fun. It's not fun, and I don't know. I'm just not having a good time. But hopefully, when I get the car, I will. Excuse me. Um, yeah. I mean, I'm just really stressed about it. To be honest with you, like you did meant, like Brunner said, it shouldn't be stressful, but it is. And car buying and home buying are definitely ones that will get you up there. I know for sure. For me, I'm like, fuck, man. It's only getting worse at the moment. Like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, yeah, this is ugly. This is ugly. Wait,
Yeah,
what
well, I
else is
was
in
gonna
your mind,
say
Brunner?
I'm just glad you got even approved because like I think that's the hardest thing because like getting the insurance is just easy. It's like just coming down to whoever is the cheapest price. But like for a lot of people like who have no credit, and they need a car, like it's like okay, well we'll go to this bank and then we'll see if they approve you. Well they didn't approve you, so we'll go here. Okay, well, they didn't approve you, so we'll go here, and then this and that, and then they're like, okay, we'll approve you, but your interest rate is gonna be like stupid high, or like the best we can do is like a
Yeah.
car with over 150,000 miles. You know what I mean? It,
No, yeah,
yeah,
mine's
I
way
mean
less than
that's
that.
like
Yeah, mine's like
the
less than
situation for some
thirty
people, but
thousand.
hopefully, I
Yeah,
mean your thing is easy. Like you just need insurance. Like that I would say I would
yeah,
rather
you're
take the
right.
insurance than like having like my credit score dinged by like 30 different banks and like not approving me. But hopefully it'll get resolved.
Yeah, no, you're. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I need to focus on the positive. So, I mean, that's true. Um, Honestly, I have a lot of people calling me right now from insurance people trying to quote me. So it's just crazy times right now. Crazy times up here.
Okay.
Honestly. It's ugly, yeah. And the approved part didn't take long. It took me like 30 minutes to get approved, honestly.
Honestly, at least your car was ready. At least your
We'll see.
car is here.
Yeah, we'll talk about that right now. But we'll see. And then yeah, I'm stressed about it right now. Even work is annoying too,
Okay.
honestly.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. But I want to go down because we were talking about this literally day before. Instagram comments. Comments on the Instagram. Um, for somebody who manages our social media, like there's some days where I'm like, you know what? I need to stay off of Instagram. I need to stay off of because I don't use TikTok. I'm like, I gotta stay off of social media because like Instagram comments are pretty unhinged. And it's not like I usually like stay out of it. The only time I'll look at comments is like a funny video and like somebody will make a funny comment, I'll have like 10,000 likes. And other times like people are just like so stupid. Like there have been times where I got like so upset at something, like I literally got not like lost my like where I was in space and time. I like got disoriented
No,
of how stupid people are. What about you?
they're very stupid. I got shadow banned for a day, I think on Sunday, because I was talking shit to the
Uh-huh.
Cowboys, and I got banned, bro. Instagram's sensitive though. I don't know about you. I don't know if anyone's relate to this, but you get an argument with Instagram, most motherfuckers will report you faster than anything.
What
Yeah, no, it.
I was just
Sorry,
saying,
what?
I got into it with somebody yesterday, and I wanted to talk about it because it's also an insight to the studio industry, the Hollywood industry. Um, it was from like a skit I'll probably put up on the screen, but this girl was just making fun of Euphoria, and
No,
it was a funny skit. Like the skit was like, because the director and creator of like Euphoria is like very creepy. Like if you seen, he did a show with The Weeknd and Lily Rose Depp, and that like failed because half of the time it was like The
yeah,
Weeknd being a cuck and then getting jealous, and
no,
then Lily Rose Depp was like naked half of the time. So she's making fun of the director of
good
Euphoria,
lord.
and he's like, "Hey, and he tells the actor, he's like, "Hey, it'd be really good for and she makes fun of it for this scene, about a high schooler, is if you take your top off, right?" And then the
Yeah,
actor's like, "Well, I don't think that it's a good time because I'm at my grandmother's funeral." And the director's like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 but since it's Euphoria and you're in high school and you're an adult playing a high schooler, I think it'd be best if you take your top off." But anyway, so that's the joke. And somebody said in the Instagram comments, why does Hollywood cast these 30-year-olds, to play high schoolers? And I know
sure.
the answer. Well, they're not usually 30 when they start, but they're in their mid 20s. And then I commented, well, I'm like, well, it makes sense, why they do it, but Euphoria is creepy and gross. And then the guy's like, listen here,
Yeah, it
buddy.
is.
He's like, why are they going back in time to time travel? Like, I don't get it. And I'm like, listen, dude, I'm not your buddy. I'm like, the reason why they do it,
Yeah,
and for those you don't know, is that they do it because actors under the age of 18 are only allowed to work a certain amount of hours. So if your main cast is under the age of 18, you only can work those certain amount of hours, which means production time is going to take longer, and that means it's going to cost more. And studios do not like that. And also that
yeah,
if you get like a baby faced 20-year-old who has some acting experience, like they're professional, like they know what to do because they've done it, rather than like the 14-year-old who has little to no experience, has probably done some commercials. And those actors, like, they work 18-hour days. Like, we were talking Smallville. We've been mentioning Smallville for these past, couple of episodes.
yeah,
But like the main star, he would
We have.
literally work 19 hours a day, and what he would do. So what they would do is like they would drive on set 4 in the morning in Toronto. So they get there 4 in the morning. They do hair and makeup, get everybody ready, and then start shooting when the sun rises 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. And then that literally carries through all the day till like sunset, even after when if they would have night shoots. And then go home, do the same thing again. I'm like, you can't do that
No,
with like a 14-year-old
you
kid.
can't do that nowadays. No, you can't do that. And then what's the cast of Stranger Things? I
I mean,
mean,
you can
that's
like
gonna be a fucking nightmare. That's gonna be a
yeah,
fucking
and then
nightmare.
like again, like you can if the studio like Netflix was willing to do it, um, have a
You know,
cast of kids, but and then I'm thinking like Disney Channel, because I'm like, these kids, like you want them to be professional. Some kids are professional, but then you have other kids like, I mean, like look at Miley Cyrus and Shia LaBeouf now. I'm like, those people were, like look how they turned out to be. Even like, I was talking about this with you and Josh. I'm like Mitchell Musso, the friend on Hannah Montana. He gets his own spin-off show, but he's still, but like I think he's finally eight. I think he was 18 or 19. I don't think he was 20 at the time. But he gets arrested for a DUI, and then they're like that throws like the whole show off course. And then they had to recast him with Lemonade Mouth Kid, who would then later be
huh?
arrested for robbery. But that's another story. But again, like you want somebody who's professional, who's been in the industry, who knows how the industry works. Um, and then I'm like, to the people saying like, well, what about Disney? They got casts of young actors. Well, I'm like, well, yeah, Disney literally has like money in advertising, because if you like you and me, you grew up watching freaking uh, Dylan and Cole Sprouse do all those Danimal commercials or the Pokemon commercials. I'm like, they're making their
Fucking
money
Crush
back,
Cups.
with the advertising for those long, and they were selling, um, because it was filmed in front of a live audience. So they're selling tickets. So they're getting their money back in production time. But like, there's so much in production. Like, there's not just, the actors and directors, there's wardrobe people, there's makeup people, there's props department, there's lighting, there's sound guys. I mean, it's like a whole thing. And then, like, if you're shooting on location, then you have, then you have to pay for the people who get the location, and you have to film within a certain time, and you also have to do casting, like the people who are in charge of casting, and you have people, the directors of photography who do the show. Like there's so much to do. And then also,
Yep.
before I want to finish conversation, I saw somebody when I was getting the Gen V clip for the Homelander edit. Go check that out. Um, but somebody said like, oh, like the show is so good, like can't wait till 2025 when season 2 comes out. And the guy's like, oh, I don't understand why it takes so long, for these new shows to come out. I'm like, listen, dog. I'm like, I like Gen V a lot too. I want season 2 right now. But you gotta understand is that, from my understanding, not only does this give the actor a breaks, because when actors, get these shows, they sign contracts. And it could be for a 1-year deal or it
Yep.
could be for a 3-year deal. And if, the show gets renewed, then they're stuck in that contract for that certain amount of price. But that's also that 2-year gap gives the whole crew time to rest. And not only that, gives actors some time to not only relax, but if they want to do other projects. Because, like, let's say one of the actor from The Boys, gets a huge Tarantino film. And then they're like, did you see him in that Tarantino film? He was so good. And then that means the price goes up. So when it's time for,
Yeah.
contracts to renew, he'd be like, hey, my guy's a serious actor now because he's done this, this, and this outside of your show. So we want more money. And they'll be like, yeah, okay, we'll do it. So, I mean, it's like, it's crazy that people complain about, the industry, the Hollywood industry, when they don't even understand like what goes on. So that's my rant.
Yeah, and like Brunner said, your fucking point, and Brunner just said it right now. It's all about money.
Yeah.
It's all about money. And there's nothing more greed than money and Disney Channel parents who force their kids into it. So you put those two together in the year 2023, you got people, right, willing to sell out their kids for a price. And of course, their kids are not going to see that money. It happened to one of the fucking chicks from Modern Family who ended up leaving the fucking show and legally, like, moved in with the fucking cast. It was crazy. And you take that money hungry, and everything is getting just worse now. So I can't imagine parents are gonna be like, "Oh, it's going to a college fund." No, no, it's going straight to the fucking pockets. And you see it
Yeah.
around TikTok. You see that family with 16 kids. You
Uh-huh.
ever seen that? You see that first boy? How everybody's
Yeah.
saying like the controversy about that? How that boy looks like he's forced? Yeah. So like, kids are not happy, but as long as the parents are getting the money, that's all they give a fuck about. They're not going to cast kids because they know it's going to be more expensive, and it just comes down to money. And you know what? And you got to also realize, you fucking pedos, that you don't want to see that on your screen, or that's jail time. You know. And I think like a lot of people in America are like stupid because they're like, oh, if I want to watch a high school girl, this at least make them the correct age. What the fuck? Like, do you hear yourself? Like, I don't know, bro. Like, even then, like the same people on the comments, especially the comments, and I see them too. The same people who are like, "Oh, she's ugly, this and that. She wrong recast. She's too old." Are the same people that are fucking jerking off to their
Uh-huh.
pages. You know what I mean? You got some weirdos online, and a good segue to that is I actually got into an argument about the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer. And me and Brunner, we had our jokes. He would send me the Barbie, and I'd be like, okay, like, thought cinema. Um, there was this one guy, man. It was just pressing me that the Barbie was better on the comments, and I'm like, you know what, man? Like, it's good. Oh, sorry, it's good for the cinema. It's good that we're getting people back
Yeah.
in theaters, and the cast of Oppenheimer bought tickets
Yeah.
to Barbie.
Yeah,
Barbie
yeah,
bought
it was
tickets to
like very,
Oppenheimer. Tom
very
Cruise,
friendly. Like they
very
like
friendly.
cast acknowledge that they're like, yeah, who doesn't love Christopher Nolan? Like, of course I'm gonna go see Barbie, and then people
Exactly.
Oppenheimer, they'd be like, yeah, Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling looks like a fun time. We're definitely gonna go see it. It was very friendly. And then
Definitely.
they admit
Yeah,
that too. They're
and
like,
it's like there
hey,
was
this
no.
is getting people on movies. This is what we're all about. This helps the movie industry. This helps because the
Exactly.
actors
Even
are
Tom
pushing
Cruise,
against
bro.
streaming, like of their movies going straight to streaming. So they're like, yeah, whatever that gets people in these seats. And it was a very like natural, like competitive thing. Like it wasn't forced. It's like, oh, the movie about about all pink and Barbie dolls is releasing the same day as a movie about the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was like just very friendly
Yeah,
competition.
it was friendly. And even Tom Cruise, the week before he released his movie, he was like, if people asked him, how do you feel about releasing your movie a week before these two blockbusters? Same thing Bruce said. Whatever gets people to the seats, they don't care. But you gotta look at these actors who, I'm sorry, not actors. Those parent actors. You gotta watch out for kids. Like, they will take advantage of those kids just to make the moolah, and the companies are not gonna spend that moolah. It's just easier just to cast older people sometimes. And it's just as simple as that. It's nothing really too big to it. And even in general, like, I know there's a rant about a lot of different things in this conversation, but one, Hollywood parents suck. Two, Instagram is sensitive, and three, people on Instagram are probably the most delusional, and like, you gotta meet them in person. Like, you have to shake their hand and be like, "What do you do for a living?" Because the way you talk, you sound like a dumbass. Like, that's just the way I feel, at least. Cancel me or whatever, but
I'm
that's the
always
way I feel.
like just so tempted to like I have to restrain myself from fighting these people because like I saw like somebody made an edit of Pearl of like just her like completely screaming from the movie. And then so like some guys like, oh, glad I skipped this movie when I was doing a horror movie rewatch. And I was like so tempted just to say, I'm glad I didn't ask because I don't care. Go back to just again to back to the whole Hollywood thing. I mentioned like my homie Tom Welling, shout out him who would like he's the main star, and I just want to say like, oh wow, like all these actors work like 16-hour days. Like if you're the main cast, if you're the main guy or
Yeah.
the main character, yeah, you're working 16-hour days. But like it's like, well, why do these people like do it? Because they get paid well. Like I mean, they do get paid well,
Good job.
but I mean, it's still like sucks for them. Well, I mean, they get paid handsomely, but like again, a lot of people don't know. And I want to bring up again why, why does Hollywood hire these people who are older? Why are they hiring 20-year-olds to play high schoolers, 15-year-olds? Because again, the whole time situation. You only can work a certain amount of hours if you're a minor. And I want to bring up like like they've been doing this forever. Like you ever watch Full House? Like
Yeah.
Mary Kay and Ashley Olsen, they play one person because that's like their loophole is like that one twin can only work like let's say 5 hours. Like okay, and it's like a 12-hour shoot. They're like okay, bring in the one kid and then bring in the other kid. And I want to show. I have some examples. So, article from the Insider. It says, despite playing siblings who were close in age to Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus and Jason Earls were actually 15 years apart. It says, when Hannah Montana first aired on Disney Channel in 2006, Jason Earl, who played Miley's teenage brother Jackson, was actually 28 years old in comparison to Miley, who was 13 at the time. I mean, people are like, oh, well, why don't, they hire a 15-year-old? Because he looks 15, right? He could pass for 15, 16 at the time. I'm like, yeah, you just get a baby face, 20-year-old, and, they can pass. Like, you don't need an actual immature kid to play, an actual immature person. And then here's
And that's crazy too. Yeah, I remember seeing reports that him and John Cena were at the same age.
And then here's another one. Even this one's reverse. It says B. Arthur was actually a year older than her on-screen mother in Golden Girls. Despite playing Dorothy's mom on the NBC series, actress Estelle Getty was actually younger than B. Arthur. At the time the show premiered, Arthur was 63 and Getty was 62. This woman looks 80 years old. Like, no offense to her, but that's the reason why they cast her, because she looks older than what would be her on-screen daughter.
Honestly, like it's only gonna get worse. I think with that, but we'll see. I mean, I have high hopes. I didn't know people complain about that. I'm sure a lot of people complain when they casted Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man the first time, and they're like, well, there was that. I don't know if you remember. There was that war where people were like, well, Toby looks like a 40-year-old man playing Spider-Man in 3. So
Toby's a good actor.
There was that, and then I didn't react to do it. Like, he still looks old.
Dude, can I go into another rant? I'm sorry, Josh. I know. I don't know why you have love for this kid, but Tom Holland is the worst Spider-Man ever.
Yeah, he is. I think I've said it on this episode.
We've said it
I've
before.
said it on this episode, but I've said it on an episode. Yeah, he can't carry a movie on by himself. He can't. Give me a Spider-Man Tom Holland movie where he carried himself. None. Zero. Literally zero. Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., Tobey Maguire saved his ass. Saved his ass. And you can't convince me otherwise. And then, what about Civil War? Gee, I don't know. Maybe because fucking Captain America and Iron Man stole that movie? Whatever. Yeah, Tom Holland is the worst. Don't at me. Like, he's probably like the best. He's a good actor. I'm not judging him, but just his movies are kind of unwatchable to me. 1 and 3 are good in my opinion. Like, I'll rather watch Toby's 1, 2, and 3 any day rather than Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 1. Maybe, I don't even know, Because Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 1 is actually good as an adult. And then you watch, like No Way Home, and it's like, well, this is just a love movie. Give me more Jake Gyllenhaal. That's how I feel about it, honestly.
Oh, yeah, here it is. I was looking
All
for a
right, say
comment.
it.
So this guy made a video, and then so he was like complaining about Tom Holland, and then the guy in the comment section said, "Bro lost his parents, uncle, his mentor, his best friend, his girlfriend. What else do you want, bro?" He said, "What else do you want, bro, to lose to make you fans happy?" So I replied, I said, "How about a non-selfish Spider-Man story that takes place in New York City, not just Queens, because I'm still waiting that to happen to the MCU Spidey." And now I'm like, I see like so many edits of Spider-Man 2, Tobey's Spider-Man 2. I'm like, yeah, this is like a masterpiece. Because
It
because
is.
from Tom Holland's MCU, the first one, like all he wants to do is just be an Avenger. He doesn't want to hang out in New York City. He just wants to be an Avenger. He wants to be an Avenger. And then he's hardly in New York City. He's in Queens, and then he goes to DC, and then he goes back to Queens, and then the movie's over. Okay, well, let's look at Spider-Man 2. Okay, goes to Europe, and all he wants to do is get with MJ, get with Zendaya. That's,
And he doesn't want to be Spider-Man. That's the whole point of that
he doesn't
movie. Is
want to
he
be
doesn't want to be
Spider-Man at
Spider-Man.
all. What does Tobey learn in Spider-Man 2? He has to be Spider-Man. He doesn't want to be Spider-Man, but he has to be Spider-Man. And he's like, you know what? He's like, all Tobey wants is just a normal life. It's like, I want a relationship with my girlfriend. I want to hang out with my friend Harry. I want to go to school and get good grades. It's like, no, you got to be Spider-Man. And unfortunately, I have to do that. And then look at, again, Spider-Man 3, hardly in New York City. Because when I think of Spider-Man, I think of him swinging around, like Manhattan, Empire State Building. Like, again, because this just justifies, like, in the movie, remember, they're like, we can't find Spider-Man, other two Spider-Man. Like, where do you guys go? And then he's like, oh, well, I usually hang out in Chrysler Building. Where's that? You know, Manhattan. Or Empire State has a better view. I'm like, yeah, because those two guys, like, swing around, do stuff. They don't, like, just stick to the suburbs of New York City. I'm like, low boy
Exactly.
Tom Holland. I'm like, he's a good
And,
actor.
and
I'm like,
before everybody comes,
just
yeah.
these three movies are not written well. His whole trilogy is not written well.
And before everybody comes for us, yes, it does take place in New York, Spider-Man 3, but it's taking place in Happy's apartment. You guys gotta realize the settings too. Like, Tom Holland's apartment looks like you could afford rent. You go to Toby's and you just feel that he's
Yeah.
just an everyday struggling guy who's Spider-Man. You go to fucking Tom's, Happy's got a little robot. He's got the arc reactor. It just doesn't like. It just does. There's a difference. Even what you can even argue with Tom. Like, just every time I see MJ with Tom, I fucking cringe. Every time I see MJ and Toby, it's always like, okay, awesome. Even in Andrew, I'm like, did I say MJ? I'm sorry, I meant to say Aunt May. The Aunt May in Tom Holland is bad, and the Toby and Andrew is actually pretty good. And that's one thing that was pretty big for me because it was Spider-Man and then Peter Parker and Aunt May. And then Tobey Maguire's is like, you nailed it. You nailed it on the fucking bullseye. And then you got Andrews, who it's good, and she gives one of the most best, in my opinion, one of the best acting performances in any of the Spider-Man movies. When in Spider-Man 1, Amazing Spider-Man 1, Peter comes home with a bunch of bruises, and she goes on a rant where she can't sleep because of Ben and the bills, and she hides bills from him, and she works big extra shifts, and she doesn't want him to know about it. Like, that right there is awesome. Perfect. Gold seal of approval. You go to fucking Tom's, right? She's over here saying, like, fleeing. She's over here doing this. She's over here doing that. Like, fucking Tony is trying to bang her half the time he sees her, and it just doesn't make sense. And I just don't agree with it. And I think the only thing that came up good out of Tom was that he came to the Avengers, that we saw that, because I think everyone wanted to see that with Toby and Iron Man. That's how long it's been. All the fanboys in 2020. I'm sorry, in 2008, were making like the Iron Man fucking, where Spider-Man would put on his mask and then Iron Man's fucking mask, and hopefully a crossover would happen. And then like the 2003 Hulk, people were making
Yeah,
like those
with
edits.
Ghost Rider,
Now,
Spider-Man, Ghost
like
Rider,
that's
Punisher,
yeah,
Daredevil.
Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Daredevil, yeah, all those, yeah, they were gonna cross over, and that's the closest we've gotten. But we'll see. That's the only thing I give Tom about. But yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
and
You're
like you
right.
said, like Tom and not Tom, Toby and Andrew, like they struggled more, and even their Aunt May struggled more. Like you, unlike what you just said, like how their Aunt May had it pretty easy besides her husband dying. Like you said, you're like, oh, Andrew's Aunt May's working extra shifts and bills are piling up, and then there's a scene Spider-Man 2 always gets me is when it's his birthday and like him and Aunt May are talking on the table. She gives him $20. And then he's like, no, no,
Yeah,
no, like I can't take it. And she gets mad at him. She's like, yes, you are. You're gonna take this. Because like Toby knows he's like, you're not doing well either. Like you might have to sell the house. Which but Aunt May fights him,
yeah.
he's like, no, you're gonna take it. And then, he goes home and then the his landlord
Ran.
takes the $20. But I'm like, there's no struggle in Tom Holland's um
No, no
in Tom
struggle.
Holland's Spider-Man. It was
Cause
very
like he was like,
he's the
okay,
Michael Irvin son
um,
of Spider-Man.
yeah, he is the Michael. He lived in a gated community. Because even at number 2, he had Happy and all his fucking resources.
Mhm.
So whatever. Crazy times up in there in MCU. But I gotta start wrapping up because I gotta get ready for
Yeah.
work soon. Is there anything else you want to say
No,
though?
that's it.
No, yeah, this was a great episode. I actually feel a lot better now that I've spewed out my feelings. Tom Holland is not supreme. I think we determined that here. Let us know if you agree. I know people will come at us for the fucking Tom, so bring it on. I'm ready to argue about it. But again, let us know. Check out the socials. Don't leave anything stupid. The song name will probably be in the fucking description. Just read the description. Don't ask for the song name. That's one thing. We're gonna post this on Who
Yeah.
Are You.
And people have
Um,
asked, they're like, oh, what's the show name? And then I've replied and they still ask for it.
just read the comments. Someone's like, come on, guys. Yeah, so check it out. Check out Brunner's edits. Check out the was it
Gen
Gen
V.
V? Gen E? Gen V. Boys crossover. Brunner's got to explain that to me right now. All right, thank you guys for watching and thank you for choosing.
But
Thank you.